City, Swansea City, the South Wales derby.
They've had the best of times, they've had the worst of times. These two Welsh cities, one built on copper, the other coal. 38 miles separate them geographically, but culturally and mentally, it's a whole different story. Cardiff, the capital, the heartbeat of business, culture, media, education and government. The city that voted no, but got the Assembly. Swansea, the city that said yes and got nothing. The Assembly and the Ayatollah, the Swans and Swim Away, the Bluebirds, the Jack Army, SA1 or Brains SA. Swansea Bay, the Mumbles Mile, the Gower, Dylan Thomas's ugly, lovely town. Cardiff Bay, the Millennium Centre and Millennium Stadium, the Liberty Stadium, Catherine Zeta and John Charles, Shirley Bassey and Charlotte Church. The FA Cup, Cardiff have won it, they've even hosted it. The top flight, Swansea stormed it.
What a shot and what a goal!
And very nearly fell out of the league altogether. John Toshak the player or Tosh the manager? Ivor Allchurch, Alan Curtis, Robbie James, Cliff Jones, Nathan Blake and Ernie. It's City versus City, a tale of two. The best of times, the worst of times. It was the season of light, the season of darkness. It's the season for South Wales derbies.
Local pride is at stake. Bradley wants it. Bradley scores. Joe Ledley scores for Cardiff City. McCormack steps up. He scored. It's driven in by Pintado.
For Cardiff and Swansea fans, no question that it's one of the biggest games of their season.
Header in from Nathan Dyer. Pots right back across. Chopper puts it in. Brilliant goal. Joe Allen. Ross McCormack penalty to share the spoils. He shoots. He scores.
Can't take your eyes off this game.
Nathan Dyer has fired Swansea City ahead. Bradley makes it 2-0. Jay Bothroyd scores for Cardiff City. And so comes in. It's a second. Great cross. Bradley makes it 3-2. What a game we have now. Headed in on the line. Ashley Williams. Bothroyd with a header. Chopra steals in. Cardiff are in here. Chopra. What an atmosphere. He scored. Marvin Emnes! Bellamy shoots right footed. Oh, it's a fantastic goal! Bellamy shoots right footed. Oh, it's a fantastic goal from Craig Bellamy! The captain has put the Bluebirds ahead. A right-footed pile driver off the far post. The Bluebirds have struck late, but they may have struck decisively. It's Swansea City 0, Cardiff City 1.
The last goal in a derby between two of football's most bitter rivals. Yet it was Swansea who were promoted, not that day's Liberty winners Cardiff, who were promoted to the Premier League last season. So the great foes meet in the top flight for the first time. Yet we know what to expect. Goals.
Emnes backheels the ball, shoots left-footed. He scored! Marvin Emnes has broken the deadlock, and the Swans have the lead. Cardiff City 0, Swansea City 1. Cardiff corner from the right-hand side. Rowledge goes across the penalty area for Ledley. Joe Ledley scores for Cardiff City on the stroke of half-time. The Cardiff boy has put his hometown side back in the Welsh derby.
Late strikes.
Cardiff are in here. Chopra! His second goal. He surely won it for the Bluebirds. It's Cardiff City 2, Swansea City 1, and there's just a minute of added time left to play. Allen fancies a shot right footed. Oh, he scored a brilliant goal, and it may be that Joe Allen has given Swansea City all 3 points.
Red cards.
McPhail slid in. Oh, now what's going to happen here? McPhail is going off. McPhail knew that was it for him. Britain wins possession, then goes through a second tackle. Oh, it's a free kick. Oh, he's off! Yeah. Leon Britton has been booked, and it's a second yellow for Leon Britton, and it's a red card for Swansea City's Leon Britton.
And controversy.
Now, wait a minute, what's happened here? I think the referee has been hit with something. He was just in front of the Bob Bank. He's got a cut on the side of his forehead, Mike Dean.
For all the ill will between fans, there are at least friendships in the boardroom, as I found out when I met up with Cardiff director Steve Borley and Swansea vice chairman Lee Deneen, two local businessmen proud to be on the boards of their local teams.
I always used to think, pick a team and follow it. I could never understand why anybody didn't follow their hometown team, even if you were in the 3rd division, 4th division or wherever. Could never understand why anybody go and follow any other team.
It's beyond me how you could. You could always have a second team if you're in the second or third division and you wanted to watch Premier League or First Division football as it was at the time. You may have a second team, but you always supported your local side. There's no doubt.
The first day I took my wife out. The first date we had, I took her to a Cardiff Swansea game.
You know to treat a woman, don't you?
Yeah, and we'll never forget the goal because it was scored from about 96 yards.
That was on the halfway line, was it?
John Buchanan special.
So where were you? You were in the terraces at that
Yeah,
point?
I was on the bob back watching that game.
I was the opposite, and I was there.
So if my wife ever asked me where was our first date, that's the only reason I would be able to tell her where we went. If she said, "Where's the first restaurant we went?" Wouldn't have a clue. Where did we get married? That's a little bit of a strange one as well. I'd probably have to think twice about that. But what was our first date? I always know it was Cardiff Swansea.
What's it like being at the heart of both clubs now, both in the Premier League, ahead of, well, I think it's probably fair to say the biggest game, arguably, in the history of Welsh club football, certainly the biggest South Wales derby?
Well, I think it's amazing that you've got two Welsh clubs now on the 3rd of November. On a prime time 4 o'clock slot on a Sunday afternoon, being beamed to 220 countries all the way around the world, and they're both Welsh clubs, and it's certainly going to put Wales on the map. And I think the Assembly government are realising the power of football and what that can do to raising the profile of the country, and that's going to be a fantastic spectacle.
You just got to, as Steve said, in 220 countries, probably 750 million boxes out there people can watch it on. America's getting massive now. I'm sure the build-up over the next couple of weeks everywhere in the world is going to be probably promoted by Welsh people out wherever they are, in Australia, America, in the Far East. It's going to surpass anything we've ever known, really.
When do you think the whole Swansea-Cardiff rivalry, the whole Swansea-Cardiff intensity started? Because it is an intense rivalry. I've been to those games and they are pretty fierce. When do you think it all kind of kicked off?
Well, I certainly believe it goes back into the 80s when Toshak wanted to come back to Cardiff, and the then manager Jimmy Andrews wouldn't take him because he felt he was going to be a threat to his own position. And so Tosh went down the road to Swansea, and they never looked back since. And unfortunately, we were on the slide the other way. Seeing Swansea's success at that time was really difficult for our fans to accept.
Interesting you talk about that Buchanan game. I think, the other game that a lot of the fans we spoke to identified as kind of a turning point in the rivalry, it was New Year's Day at the Vetch.
Yeah.
David Giles and John Toshak scoring, two former Cardiff players scoring against Swansea. Yeah. Do you kind of see that era as the turning point in those games specifically, as when things got not so much nasty but certainly more intense?
No, not really. It was there before, and it was that rivalry there was getting stronger and stronger, and it probably peaked over that era. I would think. I'd like to think nowadays with the way we both are as clubs. Cardiff were, I think, we were voted Family Club of the Year. We certainly got masses of families and mums and kids coming down now. That I think it peaked years ago, and I think it's on. I'm hoping it's on the way down now, and that. It's a way modern football is now, and the way it should be, really, and it's just educating everybody in the fact that we're there to watch a football game.
I wanted just to talk about the different routes the clubs have kind of taken to get to the Premier League, because I think you'd probably agree, Lee, there are two different routes. Probably more local businessmen on the board of Swansea City, whereas Cardiff probably got a bit more foreign capital behind it, and rightly or wrongly, some people will debate which is the best way, but they're two different routes, aren't they?
Well, they are two different routes, but they've both got the same position in the end, which is the Premier League. And we couldn't take the route that perhaps Cardiff has, because our local businessmen probably haven't got the wealth that some of their investors have got. They've chosen to take that route because they want it probably quicker, whereas we took a route that we had no alternative, really. That was it. We had to take that route. We had to build slowly. We had to take from profit. We couldn't spend what we didn't have, and therefore we took a route that took us 10 years, but if it had taken us 20 years, it would have taken us 20 years. I think with Cardiff, they had more financial backing. They were in the Championship for 6-7 years anyway, so if you look back and say, who's taken the longer route? Well, we've both taken the same, really. We just got there 2 years before them, but we've all taken 20-odd years to get to the Premier League.
It may be early to say, but how will history judge the Vincent Tan era? Because there have been controversies, the rebranding being the most obvious of those, but investment into the team has ultimately led to promotion to the Premier League, which is what your aim was.
Yeah, as you said, we've followed very different routes, and to be honest, I think one of the things that I'd always put down in history is the fact that we always raise the bar for one another. We get promoted, and driving along, Swansea get promoted behind us. Swansea got a stadium. We needed a stadium, and stadium for both of us is the main key to success, because that was the thing that for us that attracted the investment. If we were still in Linear Park, we wouldn't have attracted any investment. In fact, we're probably more likely to be playing in the conference now as playing in the Premier League. You know, Vincent Tan was a very, very brave individual to take on the basket case of a club when he looked at the debts we were carrying, the hangover from the Hammam days in terms of loan notes and the sort of ticking time bomb of that particular debt. And we were, you know, as a club, we were bouncing from one transfer window to another transfer window for survival. And that really wasn't sustainable for us.
Will you mix and mingle in the boardroom? Will you get a good welcome at the Cardiff City Stadium, likewise at the Liberty?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. And there's friendships there, and we'll all be up there.
It's not hostile in the boardroom.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Food isn't great, but...
Oh, we got the same caterers, haven't we?
I know, that's what I mean. We all eat before we get there.
Lee Dineen and Steve Borley of the respective boardrooms of Cardiff and Swansea City.
We're all aware of it, everybody, foreign players included in that. From somebody from the outside looking in, I always used to put this rivalry up there with the likes of Celtic and Rangers and those type of derbies. There's a lot more media spotlight on this game. A lot of the fans keep stopping me in the street and things and telling me how much it means to them, and it's easy to just think this is another game, it's just 3 points, but it isn't. A lot more than that. And you know, I think as a group of players we all know the importance of this game.
What derbies have you played in when you were at Middlesbrough? What's the big derby there? Is it Sunderland?
Yeah, Sunderland, but it's nothing compared to this. I've not experienced a rivalry of this sort before. Something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, because it's not a sort of derby where both sets of fans, like Liverpool, Everton, go to the ground, sort of arm in arm or whatever, is it?
No, there's a lot of hostility. I just hope that passion and whatnot doesn't spill over. We'll have a good game, very entertaining for the fans. Hopefully we win, and then everybody can get home safe and say they've enjoyed a good game of football.
Is it all about staying cool amid you've had a sort of, I suppose, a taste of the atmosphere against Manchester City. Do you hope it'll be similar or better? And how do you just cope with that sort of atmosphere?
I hope it's better. That was the best atmosphere I've played in. If we can top that, that'll be great. Hopefully it'll be hostile for Swansea and not ourselves. We'll be able to use the atmosphere, hopefully to our advantage. You know, it's easy to get sort of carried away with it and lose your cool. You know, the manager will be instilling it into us to keep calm, and we need 11 players on the pitch for the full game.
I think it's good. It's obviously good for us to have a little bit of experience of how it's gone before. But most players in our team and probably theirs have played in big games before, or derbies, or this type of game. So I think we all know what it's about. I think I've enjoyed all the games before, so I'm looking forward to this one.
How intimidating will it be there, do you think?
It's obviously an away game and they're fired up and stuff. It's nice. I think it's obviously good to play a derby at home, but it's also good to go to an atmosphere like that as well. And I think most players probably thrive on that and enjoy it. It's something that as players, you want to be playing in a ground with a lot of atmosphere. So it's something we look forward to. We're playing at their place first. It's just one game, and we're aware that it's the maximum amount of points is 3 available, but we're fully aware that it probably means a little bit more to everyone around the city and to us as well, really.
Should you win, given your experience and the fact that you're in the third year of the Premier League and they're newly promoted, is this a game you expect to win, or?
No, it's not. It's not a game. You can't expect to win any game in the Premier League, definitely, and especially playing away from home. We realise how tough it's going to be. I think they've had a good start to the season. They've got a good team, a good squad that they've bought well in the summer and stuff, and we don't expect to win the game. We feel we can win the game if we play our game and we stick to what we're good at. and we have a good day on Sunday, we feel like we can win the game. That's what we're going for, obviously, but we don't expect to win, no way. The team that stays the most focused and concentrated and just plays the game for what it is will win the game more times than not. I think all of the games that I've been involved in have been real tight, edgy affairs, and it's really who makes a mistake, kind of. I think my message and the older players and more experienced players' message, I'm sure from the gaffer, will just be to keep the heads. Don't try not to get involved in all the emotion and the atmosphere. Okay, take it in and enjoy it. That's why we work so hard to play in games like this. So you've got to enjoy those days. But really, we've got a job to do. We are the professionals on the day, so we need to stay as professional as we can be and just try and really stay focused on the job in hand.
That was Ashley Williams. Quite fitting that the Wales captain is involved in the biggest game in Welsh club football possibly ever. Certainly in terms of the South Wales derby, and as I speak, a lot of the Swansea fans chanting Ashley Williams' name. Before that, it was Andrew Taylor, who's currently training with his Cardiff compatriots just to the left-hand side. We are approaching kick-off, 4 o'clock, and there are plenty of journalists in this press box, I can assure you, all from across the world, many international journalists, and earlier, Rob Phillips, our reporter, caught up with one of them.
I'm Joe Prince-Wright from NBCSports.com, and I'm here covering the game for the audience in the USA.
Which is something, isn't it? A Welsh derby being broadcast and written about in the USA.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that the fans there have been really intrigued to find out about, because they know all about the big derbies, Arsenal against Tottenham, United against City, but this is completely new on the radar of all the soccer fans in America. So I actually was sent here earlier in the week. I've been touring around Cardiff and Swansea the last 3-4 days, and I'm just really looking forward to the game today, as are the audience in America.
And what have you made of the build-up and the atmosphere around the places? This is not a derby. I'm sure you found out that fans travel to arm in arm together, different scars walk into the stadium.
Yeah, definitely. The rivalry is a huge thing, because in America there are no segregated sections. Fans go to games together. There's a little bit of trouble, but to learn about the lengths of hatred's maybe a strong word, but it is very, very fierce, and it goes back so long. And I think the American audience have been really intrigued to find out not just the football side of things, but the cultural point of view between the two cities.
Yeah, and have you been shocked by what you found? You use the word hatred, and frankly, it's not a new word being used to describe this derby.
I have been a bit shocked, but I have to say both sets of fans were very keen that today's game went off without any incidents, and I think those dark days are behind them. But that's not going to take away from the passion and rivalry in the stadium, I'm sure, and it's going to be an incredible event that I'm really looking forward to being in.
How big will this be as far as audiences are concerned in America?
There'll be millions of people watching it. I mean, since we started the Premier League coverage at the start of this season, ratings have been through the roof. People are really embracing the game, and it's going to be going all over the states to places like Arkansas, North Dakota, everywhere that would never have watched soccer before or football, and this South Wales derby will be reaching a whole new group of people, so it's going to be great.
Can they get their heads around this is an English Premier League game without, for the very first time historically, no English club involved?
I'm not quite sure they do, I'm not sure, but it's been great fun trying to explain that to the American audience, because I said obviously the Welsh Premier League, you have that over here, but that's a completely different entity. So it's been great for the American people just to learn about the region of Wales and South Wales, as well as the game today itself.
Of course, I've heard a lot from the supporters about this game, how important it is. But what I do know a lot about the derbies. I played in Denmark, Copenhagen, Brøndby, two biggest clubs. I played Lazio Roma in Rome. I played Real Madrid, Barcelona. I played Juventus Torino. When I was in Russia, CSKA and Spartak. We can always discuss what is one is bigger than the other, but they're a little different. Some of them from the same city, others from the same country, of course, but same part of it, but not the same city. But what is important is that how the fans feel. I think all fans, they feel that their derby is something special. I always heard that when I come to a new place, I say, this derby is the special one, the biggest one. And I think they all say that. I mean, they say the same up in Glasgow,
yeah, exactly.
In Glasgow, and they say it a lot. Yeah. And they can't all be the most important, but it's the most important for these fans.
Yeah.
Like it's for the fans of Cardiff and Swansea in this case. And I think that's what really matters. It's not that Real Madrid, Barcelona, there's 500 million people watching the game last week, but probably there would not be 500 million watching Cardiff, Swansea, but people from here, they feel it's
sorry for interrupting, even the foreign players, because there's not going to be an awful lot of Welsh players on the pitch on Sunday, even the foreign players leading up to the game, they soon appreciate how big a game this is for the supporters.
Yeah,
don't
of course, because you feel when you walk around in the city, the streets, people, when there's a couple of weeks, they start talking about this game. I remember that from my time in when I was a young kid and I arrived to Lazio in Rome. I was only 19, and even 3 or 4 weeks before, they say, "Hey, when we play Roma, hey," and we still had 2 or 3 games before that. So when you hear that, then you feel as a player, you know, oh, this is really, we really care about that game. Even if we have 2 or 3 games before the derby, they really only thinking about this game. And I think it's the same here. And that's why all the players, they will know how important it is.
With all your experience of all them derbies that you've played in, and what will be the one biggest message that you'll emphasise to the players? What will the one message be that you will want them to take into the game at the weekend, your players?
There will be a few messages, but one of them could be, if we don't only relate it to the game, not to lose their head, because there will be a lot of even more, maybe more emotions.
Discipline.
Discipline, yeah, that's a part of maintaining your head clear. That's discipline as well. Don't let you take you away, and don't get into that even if somebody provokes you, and don't react, just move on, you know.
And it's normally your big players, your big game players, that tend to win these derby games for you.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And the other thing is that small details, you know, we know, not only Cardiff, a lot of the teams we play again, we know that on set pieces they're very good. I mean, we played West Ham, and you know, when we don't have the biggest team in the Premier League, physically speaking, and that's the same again when we play Cardiff. I mean, they are very strong at set pieces, so try to avoid to give them 10 corners.
Yes. What have you made of Cardiff City so far this season?
Well, I think they started well. A huge result, that one against Man City at home. Then they lost a couple of games, but I think they are in that big group of teams, you know, where everybody on a good day can beat everybody, and they play at home. I think they will feel a part of being a derby. They will feel, okay, I think they lost the last couple of games at home. That this one we need to get a result, because we have 9 points. I think they have, and we have to move on, especially at home, because like us and like a lot of other teams, we know that the majority of our points, we need to get them from our home ground.
No, it's not just another game, and I'd be lying if I said that. It's only 3 points. Obviously, it's another Premier League team coming to the stadium, but there's a lot of importance attached to the game. First time we've played each other in the top level in the Barclays Premier League, and that being the case, it's very special for everyone in South Wales in terms of both ourselves and Swansea. So no, it's absolutely got an extra little bite to it. Obviously, I've watched on television the South Wales derby, and it was fantastic looking then. I know what the passion of our fans are like. I know what our stadium can be like, but I don't think it's going to touch the sides of what we're going to feel on Sunday. I think this is going to be an incredible atmosphere. We walk out there on Sunday. And I think it's something that all our fans have been looking forward to since the day we were promoted. It does hold that extra little special edge.
Oh, now what's going to happen here? McPhail is going off, and it's a red card. It'll be Swansea City who lead Cardiff City 1-0 and will now be taking on just 10 men.
Yeah, and that's always something that can happen in derbies. Get sent off in one myself, so I do realise that and understand that, but I think that little bit of extra intensity that's in every player is something that is good for them going out there. You've got to be careful, you've got to be calm, you've got to be professional and make sure that you're doing the best for your team and keeping 11 men on the pitch at every point, because that's something that again that you've got to be aware of in that type of situation. But as I say, I think it's an atmosphere that players embrace.
Are you building up almost a siege mentality with all this other stuff going into a derby game?
It's something that I think that over the course of the last couple of years, we've tried to foster a real good mentality at the training ground, that nothing gets inside that building. We've worked hard on that, and the ethos of the people that have come in, and the culture that I've got up there, and the respect people have got for each other inside that training ground, and what we do on the training pitch. And to be fair, taking that further, invariably it transpires on a Saturday at home games. We do the same, and we include our fans because they've bought into that, and it shows, I suppose, at times when teams have come down to our stadium and what an atmosphere we can put together to play against them. That's something that counts against teams, and it's something that, again, I won't let the focus of anything else get in the way of that.
Typical Derby week build-up. Anjel Rangel suggested you overpaid for Gary Medell and he's easily wound up.
Well, there you go. He's got plenty to say, to be fair. One of these things, isn't it? You're going to get that.
Well, will you have to calm your players down before Sunday?
No, listen, it's one of these things. I've absolutely no doubts that there's a modicum of making sure everything's calm and settled and they're fully focused. But what I do want is I want that extra little heightened sense of the Derby game inside them. I want that. I want them going out there, and I think sometimes that can really benefit them. That they've got that little edge to them going into these games. The atmosphere gives you it to start with. We'll monitor them and make sure that none of them are on the ceiling at that point. But no, that's something that you've got to embrace and got to enjoy.
How does your team compare with Swansea's, would you say? I ask because Leighton James has said not one of the Cardiff players would make the Swansea team at the moment.
Leighton's tad biased, isn't he? It's just a tad biased. So we're playing a team who are in their third season in the Premier League. So we're playing what you would suggest a mid-ranked Premier League team. So that brings its own challenges, and that's what we're facing. Throw that into the mix that it's your biggest local rival and the first derby in a long time, top level. Means it's absolutely going to be a tough challenge for both teams going into the game.
Well, what an atmosphere on a grey afternoon here at the Cardiff City Stadium. I just saw a long-standing Cardiff fan walk past us. He comes with his old mother and he left her behind about 10 yards. He was too wrapped up in the occasion as the two teams walk out. Cardiff City led by the former Swansea loan player Stephen Colker, captain this afternoon, and Swansea City by the Wales captain Ashley Williams. The first ever derby these two sides have played in the top flight. There's not an empty seat in the house as the two teams go through the ceremonies of Stephen Colker leading his team down the line of the Swansea City players. And make no mistake, this afternoon they will be very cursory handshakes. I'll give you the teams. Cardiff City have David Marshall there, probably their outstanding player of the season. In goal, across the back, Kevin Tearfield-Catherine, Stephen Colker, Ben Turner and Andrew Taylor. The holding midfield player will be Gary Medell, overpriced according to Anjel Rangel. We shall see. And Don Cowie comes into the starting lineup. Jordan Much is in midfield as well. Peter Whittingham, Craig Bellamy and Peter Odemwingie. The big decision by Malky Mackay is to leave Fraser Campbell out of the starting lineup for the first time in a Premier League encounter this season. He's on the bench alongside Kimbo Kyung, Craig Noon, Aaron Gunnarsson, Mark Hudson, Nicky Maynard and Joe Lewis. The Swansea City side, Michel Vorm in goal. Then across the back, Anjel Rangel, Chico Flores, the captain Ashley Williams and the Welsh international Neil Taylor. Williams and Rangel both playing their 8th derbies since hostilities were resumed in 2008. In the midfield, Leon Britton, ever dependable holding midfield player. Jonathan de Guzman experiencing his first derby. The former Cardiff loan player Wayne Routledge, Nathan Dyer, John Joe Shelby and Michu. Big cheer for Craig Bellamy. On the bench for Cardiff City, Gerhard Tremmel, Jordi Amat, Wilfred Boney, their top scorer, Dwight Tiendale, Jose Cañas, who has Seville derby experience of Gary Medell, Alejandro Pozuelo and Alvaro Vasquez. The referee, just as it was in the last derby at Ninian Park, is Mike Dean, and Ian Walsh. The Swans players have just had a taste of what it's like to be booed at the Cardiff City Stadium. Well, I don't think it's new for a lot of them, but It's an unbelievable atmosphere in the ground. I don't think I've been here at some massive games, promotion for Cardiff City, but I don't think the last 15-20 minutes of the build-up has been exceptional. And I think the players now getting out on the field, Rob, what they want to do is to get a first touch of the ball, just to settle down, get the game underway and focus on what they do best, and then hopefully for all of us that both teams put on a performance.
Stephen Colker and Ashley Williams, who used to play alongside each other for one season, are just having a toss of the coin with Mike Dean. Both managers agreeing a lot of eyes will be on Mike Dean because of the history, hit by a coin in the derby at Ninian Park, the last derby at Ninian Park, and then of course gave that controversial equalising penalty for Cardiff City in a 2-2 draw. Both sides in their huddles, Swansea City all in white, their 2,000 or so fans packed away to my right in the corner, behind the corner flag, that side, and Cardiff City in their red shirts and black shorts break from the huddle now, and it does look as if Craig Bellamy is moving out to the left hand side. That's answered one question maybe, we shall see just where he will play. It's the 55th league derby between these two sides. It's the first in the top flight. It's the first Premier League game without an English team involved. It's history in the making as Swansea City kick off. It's time for cool heads. Yeah, right. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, let's get on with it. And just, it's interesting you say that. Cardiff City are lining up 4-1, 4-1. Gary Medell just sitting in front of the back four, and then Whittingham a bit further at the middle, with Bellamy on the left, Cowie on the right, Odemwingie up front on his own.
It's Swansea playing from right to left, and a Cardiff player's yet to touch the ball after 31 seconds. Still haven't. Ashley Williams has it. As I said, the most experienced derby player, along with Angel Rangel. This is Chico Flores in his first derby, as Williams moves it forward up to Shelby. He's played in Merseyside derbies. It's Cardiff City who are 17th, Swansea City who are 12th, but it's much more than that. It's bragging rights, and as you say in Walsh, looks like Odemwingie will lead the line. He'll plough that lone furrow, normally occupied from the start by Fraser Campbell. Taylor, ball down the left-hand side for Rowledge. He's in behind the Cardiff defence. It's almost a first touch for Michu. Whittingham comes across. Taylor follows up, drives it out to the left-hand side to the former Cardiff lone player. Rowledge into Michu, couldn't control it inside the penalty area, and Colker clears.
Yeah, great ball in from Routledge early on there. Good ball over the top to get Routledge. Theophile Cadaran just got caught ball watching. Odemwingie got caught ball watching, chasing back as well. And immediately we see the passing game of Swansea taking shape. Just going to the Swansea lineup. In a way, it's quite similar, Rob, because you've got Leon Britton, who is holding, and then further up the field you've got Shelby, who's on the run now, and De Guzman, who are further up the field, and Michu up top. But what you'll have with Swansea, Rob, is that the two full-backs will push high up the field as well to outnumber Swansea in that midfield area.
Now, first foul of the game committed by John Joe Shelby on Gary Medell, El Pitbull himself. Some would say given a taste of his own medicine, though he's yet to be booked in the since he's arrived for £11 million from Sevilla in La Liga. The Chilean gets up, Chilean captain, World Cup bound of course. A few words from Malky Mackay, experiencing his first derby, just like his opposite number, Michael Laudrup. From the free kick, Shelby picks up possession, but chips it into the Cardiff half. Cardiff playing a high line, Turner almost caught in possession, does find Bellamy, brought down by Rangel, free kick Cardiff City on halfway.
Yeah, and this is the opportunity that Cardiff would have wanted quite early in the game, Rob. Anything on the halfway line, the two big lads, Corker and Turner, will go and take that height advantage that Cardiff will have from set pieces. I'm surprised that Michu isn't back defending this and leaves somebody smaller further up the field, but Michu has stayed up there. But this looks like a free kick that's been worked on the training ground. Look at them, all on the edge of the D.
It's a yard inside the Swansea half. Gary Medell will take it. Right-footed, chips it forward into the box. Jordan Much gets a header on, but he can't control it, and it's a first touch for Michel Vorm, the Dutch goalkeeper. 3 league clean sheets for Swansea City this season. Immediately sends Nathan Dyer down the right-hand side, inside to Routledge, gets a ricochet, back to Dyer. Bellamy comes in to nick the ball off him, but Cardiff can't get it away, because Swansea City are dominating possession in the opening goalless 4 minutes. Shelvey crosses from the right-hand side, breaks a Michu, who's driven it over the bar from the penalty spot.
Well,
what a good chance.
Well, it's a great chance, made a great chance because of his first touch. Shelvey whips the ball into the box, he gets the goal, wrong side of the defender, he flips it up with his right foot and then doesn't let the ball drop enough to get over the top of the ball to hit the target. He hits it in a very quick motion after the first touch and he spills it over the bar. Just goes to show that you don't give this guy any space in the penalty box.
No Wilfred Boney today in the starting lineup. He's on the bench. Turner looks long for Odemwingie. Odemwingie holds it up against Ashley Williams. Much. Teofil Catherine tries to get onto the ball down this near side. The Cardiff right. Cardiff playing from left to right. Cleared away by Routledge. Oh, played back towards the penalty area. Cowie got involved there as well. Odemwingie waited for the ball to drop. Shelvey plays it back in towards Don Cowie, and it's an offside flag on the near side. Vorm cleared long as Odemwingie tried to set Taylor away. Ashley Williams also lovely crossfield ball out to Nathan Dyer. Dyer cuts into the Cardiff penalty area, right hand side, and the roars behind that goal, which is packed with Cardiff City fans, will tell you that he skied and swerved away from goal. The shot which resulted from that run.
Yeah, again, a great crossfield ball there from Ashley Williams. And again, with Dyer, what you see sometimes is composure at the final moment. Bit of ball watching on that left-hand side there, Bellamy and Taylor. Nathan Dyer made a run from quite deep, wasn't picked up, apart from a great ball from Ashley Williams to set up the opportunity. Didn't see any conviction in his run there, Dyer, to take on Taylor. You'd think he'd have the pace to beat him, but Taylor's a canny defender, very experienced.
He's got 2 goals against Cardiff City, Dyer. Medell's given it away though, and Shelvey has fired Michu through. Michu up to the edge of the box. Marshall parries away the shot. It was swerving as well. Michu collects near the left corner flag. 3 yards from the flag for Swansea City. Definitely starting the stronger in this game. Routledge. And they won't want to do that too often. Provide Michu with a shooting chance from their own possession, Cardiff. Rangel, so effective moving forward. Crosses from the right-hand side. Can't beat Bellamy, but Swansea win the first corner.
It's come from a ball back pass though, isn't it? And not the touch on the ball. Michu takes it to the right of Corker. Gets him on his wrong foot. Smashes it goalwards. Marshall on the edge of his 6-yard box. Great position. And is able to parry it away, but Swansea maintaining the pressure through midfield.
They made a really good start. The Guzman takes the corner from the right-hand side. It came off Medell's head. Routledge picks it up, lays in Britton into the box, and it. Well, I'm not sure Corker knew what it was, but Medell has managed to scramble it away. Cowie goes through a crowd of players. Odemwingie back to Teofil Catherine, and a big boot upfield, and that was panic stations in the Cardiff defence then.
It certainly was. I think that's. But again, you know, sometimes that's how Cardiff defend. They defend in numbers. They got plenty of red shirts behind the ball, and they close things down, make it tight for any of the opposition. I don't think Swansea had a chance of winning that headed corner, the corner that came in the air, because I think Cardiff should be dominant in the air in this fixture. But it's the ball at the moment is on the deck with Swansea.
Dyer drives through again until he's foiled by Whittingham, but it breaks to De Guzman, who's found Britton. Taylor's well inside the Cardiff half. Teofil Catherine goes out to meet Routledge. Real test for the French under-21 player today. Routledge cuts in from the left-hand side, zips past one tackle, then loses it, cleared only as far as Britton. Shelvey again, Swansea turning the screw. Rangel's forward again where he likes to be, hooks in the cross from the right side. Colker heads it only as far as Routledge, picked up inside the penalty area. Routledge crosses in again, Colker heads it, picked up by Rangel, floated back in. Marshall collects that one. Panic over for Cardiff, but a really good start for Swansea City.
Yeah, they're moving the ball about really nicely, and Leon Britton is just pulling the strings in that central midfield area. When it comes out to him, he's keeping a simple pass out to Taylor or Rangel or Routledge or Dyer, just keeping the ball moving. But again, you know, it's all about getting chances and scoring goals. And everybody expected this type of game. Swansea having the possession as much as they can, but they haven't been clinical enough in the last few weeks. And Cardiff have ridden their luck on many occasions. They played well up at Chelsea, albeit losing 4-1. And you see it. It's just developing in your own eyes. And I see it happening again this afternoon.
I've been told to sit down. That's how worked up we all are here at the Cardiff City Stadium.
How can a man 5 foot 2 inches tall be told to sit down?
Exactly.
That's the first.
I'm quite chuffed, actually. It's one of the best moments of my life. Much. First time ball inside from the right hand side, met by Chico Flores. Shelby knocks it down for Taylor to hook away the Wales international. Michu and Medel battling for it. Corker's made the rush by Shelby. Shelby wins the ricochet. Michu heads it on. Turner gets across to the near side and knocks it against Shelby for a Cardiff throw in their right back position. The lights are on. It's darkening. There are grey clouds above. We've had rain as well. Much wins 2 headers in midfield. Chico returns it. Whittingham, ball out to Bellamy. Had to slide to try and keep it from going up, but he couldn't. The former Wales international, as he is now, retired. Oh, what a little bit of afters from Bellamy there. I don't know what he was complaining about on that far side, but he's just pushed in the back of Angel Rangel, who's complaining to, well, nobody really, because Mike Dean's got his back turned, but we'll have to watch that one.
Oh,
that could be they're having a long distance conversation.
It'll get shorter by the second. They'll get closer together, and they'll be having whispering in each other's ears before the end of the game. But I'm surprised they're the most 2 experienced players, you have to say, on the pitch, arguably.
A Spaniard and a Welshman, and the Spaniard almost got behind the Cardiff defence there, but the ball to him was overplayed, and he was in behind Andrew Taylor. That's where he's dangerous, is Angel Rangel.
I tell you what, it's marginal. He's a fraction. He's half a yard from getting it. Superb ball. It's opportunities like this that Cardiff will try to make the most of. It's a free kick about 20 yards inside the Swansea City half. Big central defenders have gone up, and the man on the ball is Whittingham.
Whittingham floats it into the penalty area. Colker rises highest, heads it across goal, and Don Cowie was in there too and couldn't deliver it on goal. He was going backwards, but there you see the danger for Swansea City from set pieces, and the reason why there's some surprise maybe that Wilfred Boney's on the bench. Here comes Shelby down the Cardiff left hand side, but a strong tackle from Turner. My word, that was a Derby tackle. Got the ball, nothing wrong with it, as Medel flicks it across field to Teofil Catherine. In behind Taylor is Cowie. Cowie breaks into the penalty area, lobs it across. Odemwingie waits for it, and at that moment Angel dived in to head it out for a corner.
Yeah, well, possibly the lack of pace behind the 2 fullbacks of Swansea City is something that Malky Mackay will have looked at. Ball over the top, not far enough for Vaughan to come and get it. Cowie makes a lovely run, and it's a nice volley pass into the far post, and I think Odemwingie was going to do a bicycle kick, but Angel Rangel not taking any chances.
Now Whittingham with Cardiff's first corner, the right side, drives it in, left footed! Vaughan missed it, but there was a push anyway, spotted by Mike Dean. But they are always dangerous. Cardiff City, 3 of their 8 goals have come from headers. Swansea City, the only side in the Premier League yet to concede from a header, as Dyer is sent forward again, scurrying forward. He gets it into the penalty area. He tried to flick it against Marshall, who come right out of his goal, out to the extremities of it, but Marshall gathered it before he went out for a corner.
Yeah, he did well there, Marshall. He was alert to the situation, came out to smother it, because Dyer had made that late run again, leaving the midfield area, and Taylor and Bellamy not picking him up going forward. So Marshall got Cardiff City out of jail there to a certain extent, managed to juggle the ball, keep it in play. Good spell over the last 5 minutes for Cardiff City. The free kick, the corner kick, a little bit of momentum building up from that sort of play, and as I said earlier, it's to be expected.
Much is caught, by a very high-footed Shelvey. Shelvey stays down on the deck. Mike Dean, the referee, surrounded by the red shirts of Cardiff players. Much is still down.
Well, what he'll say to him, look, you tackled Gary Medell down in that forward position earlier. I think if the referee's sensible here, he'll just give him a warning and then give him one more opportunity. You have to do that to keep control of the situation. And as he sees the ball in the defence of John Joe Shelvey, it comes over his left shoulder and he just puts a swinger on it, and much is in the way. But having said that, this is a great opportunity here for Cardiff City. I don't know, is that Bellamy's taking command of this, or would you say Peter Whittingham's left foot?
Well, it's Bellamy stood over it, but
yeah,
the wall is just being paced back 10 yards. Now it's to the left of the D, and the wall, well, it's going to be about 11 yards from the box, because Mike Dean is marching the wall back to just in front of the penalty area. So it could be a Bellamy left footer, Bellamy right footer from the left, or a Whittingham left footer over to the big men who are lined up on the edge of the box. It's Bellamy, hits it right footed, took a deflection over the bar, corner Cardiff City.
Yeah, I'm not sure it would have had much danger to it if it hadn't taken the deflection off the wall. But that deflection, anything can happen. Decent strike from Bellamy.
Don Cowie has gone short for this right-sided corner, but that won't happen because Whittingham is so dangerous with these in-swinging left-footed corners. He delivers, Vaughan palms it away under pressure. Cowie tries to win it back, leaves it for Whittingham, lays it back to Medell, who's centre field, has Taylor to his left on halfway. Bellamy's gone back on the left-hand side. Taylor sends Michu the wrong way. Now he can deliver it, but he delivers to Teofil Catherine, whose header into the box is headed away by Ashley Williams. And Anjel Rangel, who's under pressure from Modern Wingy, clears down the far side, but straight into Taylor on halfway. Colker stayed forward. Well, he's just inside the Swansea half. Now Whittingham feeds it right to Teofil Catherine. Cowie's moving across to collect possession, back to Teofil Catherine again.
A good spell for Cardiff, keeping good possession play. Swansea, the one that's looking a little bit ragged at the moment. I thought Teofil Catherine could have just taken that on his chest, actually, Rob, when the ball came over. He just tried to change the angle of the pass into the penalty box. Swansea were back in numbers, so
Michu dropped deep to win possession. Dyer on the right-hand side of the Cardiff penalty area, moves across, leaves it to Shelvey, who's slightly deeper. Taylor's forward again. The red shirts are all back apart from Modern Wingy as Routledge takes on Teofil, gets the ball into the middle, breaks for Dyer. Good block on the edge of the box by Whittingham. They're shouting for offside, but no, it is offside. The linesman was very late flagging on the very far side, but Routledge hadn't really got back quick enough from beating Kevin Teofil Catherine, the former Rennes player. It's the Guzman now, the Dutchman. Wide to Rangel, who's been prominent down that right side. Routledge has made a run across the Cardiff line. Turner went with him, tried to spike it out for a Swansea throw, but it's kept in. Shelvey looks for the run of Taylor, but it's headed away by Cowie. Whittingham was a bit lax then and allowed Britain to collect. Swansea have it along halfway with Chico Flores. Rangel now. Rangel slides it forward for De Guzman. Holds off one challenge. Lovely run by Michu. Medell went with him. Medell gets back there. They're doing what a good defensive midfield player should. And El Pitbull comes away with it. He's up against Rangel now. He's pinned to that far touchline. He wants the help from Taylor. There's a Swansea player down, but play continues as it breaks from Michu inside the penalty area. Went for the return pass. Too strong, out for a goal kick. And the player down, I think it was Wayne Routledge, who's now up. This is Shelvey. Shelvey outside of the right boot. Nonchalantly across to Leon Britton. There's Rangel. Back to Britton. The boos will tell you Swansea City are holding on to possession. It's like they're running down the clock, but you just never know with Swansea City. They're always ready to strike. Just lulling you into a false sense of security. De Guzman's picked up a good position. Britton into Michu. Michu holds it up. 10 yards from the penalty area, finds Taylor. Now chance for Taylor to drive. It comes off Teofil, breaks to Britton, touches it to Michu. Michu wide to Dyer, who's moved across from the right-hand side. Dyer onto his right foot. Michu hits it against Cowie. Will it squirt away for a corner or a throw? It's a throw right near the Cardiff right-hand touch line.
You can just tell by the home fans, Rob, they're getting a bit concerned that that Cardiff are dropping very, very deep when Swansea have got the ball. To a man, they're only about 30 yards away from their own goal, so they're compacting that area to give Swansea lack of space, and Swansea aren't bringing it down. And there's this big argument: you can have all the ball in the world, but if you don't break it down, so what? And I think that's the attitude that Cardiff City have adopted. And when Cardiff have got the ball, they're trying to be productive with it. But as I say, I think the tension in the ground, it just seems at the moment neither side, neither individual player wants to make a mistake, and they're not really committing defenders like the likes of Dyer and Routledge. When they've got the ball, it's all tippy-tappy, going sideways, going backwards. Jordan Much, Whittingham not really getting involved in the play to make things happen.
Kolka chips it up to Odemwingie. Odemwingie turns away from Taylor, centre field, run by Bellamy across the back four. Odemwingie hits it, and it just slithers past Michel Vorm's, well wide of Michel Vorm's goal. Didn't really get hold of that, the Nigerian, but he looks fluent when he's on the ball. And immediately Whittingham seizes on a loose ball from Shelvey in midfield, drives down that right hand side. Oh, lovely ball through to Jordan Much. Chico Flores did ever so well to get across there and cut out the run, but it's out for a Cardiff throw in their right back position. Tearfield to take this throw. I said the Cardiff full back position, the Swansea left back position. Odemwingie tries to go around the back, holds it up, runs it out, no, wins a corner. Opening seconds of this second half, and it's goalless here at the Cardiff City Stadium, and Cardiff are playing towards the most vocal end as far as their fans are concerned. It's a corner on the right hand side, and this will enable Peter Whittingham again to swing it in left-footed from that far side.
Slightly different ploy here though, Rob. Look, everybody on the edge of the box, not under the keeper's nose.
They are. They run towards the ball now, and they don't get anywhere near it because Michu heads it away on the corner of the 6-yard box. Free kick on halfway. Medell floats it up to the edge of the box. Odemwingie's in, and he can't get the touch to take it past Vorm. It was Kolka who won it. I think there may have been an offside anyway.
Yeah, again, we saw that exactly the same in the first half. Medell on the edge of the halfway line, just getting the ball into the box, and the touch from Kolka, really deft little touch. Odemwingie couldn't get around the ball to hit the target.
Kolka, Odemwingie, Tearfield breaks into the penalty area. Can he get it across? He can. Breaks to Bellamy. Bellamy turns, lays it back to Whittingham on his right foot, but the right-footed shot was always swinging away from Michel Vorm's goal. But Cardiff starting to show their teeth and getting the crowd roused. Michu is down injured as Kolka comes forward, chips it into the penalty area, headed down by Odemwingie. Cowie tried to break into the box. Tearfield picks up. Michu is still down inside the Cardiff half. Tearfield floats it across. Bellamy header across goal, and Cowie went for it. Was he pushed by Ashley Williams? No, says the referee and linesman, and now Michu will receive attention.
Yeah, I think Michu just tweaked his ankle here. This is the Bellamy header back across the ball. I don't think he was at the pace of it, Ashley Williams. I think that possibly there's an arm up with his left arm. Lots of people would say that's an infringement, free kick. I don't think Don Cowie was going to get to the flight of the ball anyway.
Jordan Much is coming off for Aron Gunnarsson, the Icelandic captain, who, if they get through a playoff this month, will be leading his side to the World Cup finals.
Yeah, and he's a big game player, you know, as well, Gunnarsson. You know, he scored some important goals for Cardiff City.
What a ball from Medell for Tearfield, who keeps it in at the byline, tries to hook it back across, wins the corner. Well, what a pass that was.
He's the pick of the bunch, I think. Theophile Catterin today for Cardiff City. He just showed what a very good player he is. Gets forward in on every occasion to support Don Cowie in that right-hand side.
Now, change of tactics from Cardiff City. Right-sided corner. It'll be an outswinger from Craig Bellamy, the hometown boy. Gunnarsson is on. Bellamy hits it. Kolka header! 1-0 Cardiff City! Stephen Kolka with the header against his former club. He knows them so well, and Cardiff City have struck the way they often do from a set piece. They've broken the deadlock in the derby. 62 minutes gone. Cardiff City 1, Swansea City 0.
Well, it's a great header at the near post. I think he's taken Chico into the near post, and then he's just held his run, and he's bigger and stronger than Chico, and he's headed the ball down into the near post. And it was a great delivery from Bellamy, an outswinger. Chico got caught the wrong side. Kolka, head and shoulders, and it knocks it into the near post. And you just wonder what John Joe Shelby was doing. What was John Joe Shelby doing coming off the post to allow that to go in very close to that upright?
Ashley Williams, the Swansea captain, came running over to the bench, and I can lip read, and he wasn't a very happy bunny. That was French from Ashley Williams. I know he's learning Spanish, but he had some strong words to say to the bench then as he came across, and Cardiff City have made the breakthrough. It's 1-0, but at least for Swansea City fans, there's an awful lot of time left yet.
Yeah, and as all that through that, has Vasquez now sat down?
He has.
He has. I think it could be a change
here.
Ready
to come on.
I think it could be Boney now. You need the goals if you're a Swansea City fan. But that's what
they get. Also, they need the height at set pieces.
Exactly. Well, that was always the strength of Cardiff City. They were always going to be better in that department. But it's and
let's not forget the setup from Medell's exquisite long ball under defence for Tearfield Catherine as Dyer tries to move inside. Taylor clubs the ball away over halfway. Odemwingie is urged to chase after it by Malky Mackay. He's really worked up now, and it's Wilfred Boney is coming on, not Alvaro Vasquez. I wonder whether the Swansea City captain hasn't had a part in that.
Yeah, possibly. You know, at the end of the day, you need goals now if you're a Swansea City player, and you're more likely to get them from Boney than you are from Vasquez.
And it's Michu who's going off. And the attendance is 27,463. 2,276 almost silent Swansea City fans in the rain as their side trail 1-0 to Stephen Kolka. How ironic, his second goal of the season. He scored in the win at Fulham, of course. That was a header as well. Boney with a header, balloons up in the air. De Guzman waits for it to drop. Boney comes in and just pushes it past the near post. My word, he was inches away with Marshall beaten.
Yeah, again, it was the initial contact from Boney, that extra power in the air. He goes in with Corker, it comes off Corker's head. De Guzman on the edge of the 6-yard box. And I think Swansea possibly are unlucky there not to have got the corner kick, but great defending from Stephen Corker.
They've already looked more dangerous with Boney on though, haven't they? He's given them an out ball. Shelby. Tearfield Catherine steps in, wins possession off Routledge. Odemwingie has Tearfield on the right hand side, went inside to Gunnarsson and he missed everybody. Rangel plays it back to Vorm. Oh, Bellamy also almost chased it down. In fact, he did get a block. Gunnarsson breaks for him. First time shot blocked, and now Swansea City will try and calm it down with Rangel and bring it out of defence. And Cardiff are suspect on the break if they push too many forward. Malky Mackay is urging Craig Bellamy to get back into position as Dyer breaks at the Cardiff defence. De Guzman though has presented it back. Oh, strong challenge by Britton. Britton picks it up near side. Swansea right wing. Angel Rangel pushes over Medell. Rangel scoops it into the box, headed away, only half cleared. The Guzman air shot. Taylor says leave it to me, and he's nowhere near with a left-footed drive which ballooned off his shin. Bellamy infield to Gunnarsson. Bellamy again strides down the left-hand side up against Chico Flores. Kills it in the cross. Went past everyone. Tearfield gets it almost ahead of Routledge. Will this be another corner? No, Tearfield slides in. My word, he's got some energy, the French guy.
Yeah, he's a quality player, and he's shown everybody today that what a good player he is. Swansea going for it now.
And it's Britton off, and Alejandro Pozuelo, 2 goals both in Europe this season, comes on for Swansea City. Dyer now takes on Whittingham into the penalty area, scoops past Bellamy, just on the edge of it. Pozuelo is in there too. Can't hold her. Get a shot away. Shelby may try, hooks it into the box. Boney's offside, but Marshall made the save anyway from 8 yards.
Nothing goes past Marshall these days. We get the opportunity of that. Shelby, instead of shooting from the edge of the box, he just angled the ball into the far post, and Boney had drifted a few yards offside. So the ball comes in here, and he's definitely offside. So great save though. You know, Marshall wasn't aware of that the flag had gone up, so he had to keep playing, and he did well to make the save, albeit that he wouldn't have counted in the end.
Adam Wingy is shaking hands with every red shirt he can see as he walks off. As Mike Dean, the referee, looks at his whistle, looks at his watch, sorry. Fraser Campbell comes on. Malcolm Mackay gives Adam Wingy a tap on the back and does the Ayatollah too. I think that's what he was reminding him to do, the Ayatollah, which Vincent Tan was doing just a few minutes ago, even though there's a Tan out banner behind the one goal. All that forgotten for the moment though, because Cardiff are leading their derby rivals 1-0, and Campbell is already onto a through ball, although Ashley Williams beats him to it and then takes no chances and blasts it into row E that time.
And of course that will Fraser Campbell will give as a striker. He'll run behind you, and whereas Adam Wingy at his age now, in his early 30s, would like the ball to his feet all the time or into certain channels, but Campbell won't worry too much about moving Chico and Ashley Williams into those corner flags to turn the Swansea City defence.
And 7 games without a goal, Fraser Campbell. Taylor in crossfield from left back, centre field now. Rangel again. Shelby is deep, but he's created space for Routledge on that left-hand side. Routledge up against Tearfield, into the penalty area. Routledge, will he shoot right-footed? He does, but it squirts past the far post, about 10 yards wide from Wayne Routledge, who of course had a loan spell at Cardiff City many moons ago.
Yeah, and the home fans did remind him of that early on in the game. For the first time really that Routledge in the second half has got on the ball, and now you can tell who's been dragged off. Routledge has been dragged off for Vasquez, Alvaro Vasquez. Yeah, he's had a quiet game, Routledge, not been his day. You know, not played with the confidence that everybody knows he's capable of. But then having said that, I think he's been up for the majority of the game against Teofile Katerine, and Katerine has been the dominant player on that side.
Alvaro Vasquez is on for Swansea City. The striker signed on loan from Getafe in the summer, the Spanish club. Looks like Kim Bo-kyung is going to get a taste of the Welsh derby, the Korean for Cardiff City. Dave Kerslake and his interpreter has a word, or Dave Kerslake was thinking about it, now he will, as Cardiff try and work their way down the Swansea right. Rangel playing in behind Chico. Bellamy gets there first, into the penalty area. Campbell hits it, took a deflection as Vaughan waited, shoots a second time into the hands of Vaughan from an acute angle, does Fraser Campbell, and Vaughan clears quickly. Boney heads it on. Medell's there ahead of Pozuelo, doing what a covering midfield player should do.
What great play by Gary Medell then. He saw the danger, the flick on it, Boney wins it. Vasquez had angled his run perfectly, and he tried to not, but there's Gary Medell. I think Corker was in a good position as well, but superb play from Gary Medell there.
Shelby, lovely ball into the box. Boney pulls it down against 2 Cardiff players onto his right foot, tried to chip it past Taylor. Taylor was big though, made sure his hands were behind him. This time Rangel, edge of the penalty area, tries to turn one way, runs into Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson makes sure the ball almost went out for a throw. It picked up by De Guzman, curling cross in, low cross, easy for Turner to head away. Only as far as Ashley Williams. Every player bar Vorm now in the Cardiff half. Cardiff pressurising the ball though. Ashley Williams on the centre circle. White to his defensive partner Chico Flores on halfway. Up to Dyer. Medell gets in ahead of Dyer. Shrugs him off the ball. Dyer wants a free kick. Mike Dean's right there. Medell has gone down with cramp, I think. Whatever the Spanish is for cramp, he said it. And
yeah, it's definitely cramp, but tremendous play from Gary Medell again. You know, the fact that he's been outstanding, you have to say, you know, in a quiet, responsible way. Medell, you know, he's just snuffed out any opportunity that's come through the middle of the field for Swansea, and he just led by example in that position.
Rangel, header back to Vorm, asking him out of his area. Not the best Ball forward, not the best clearance by Medell, presented to Boney. Boney holds off one challenge, Medell gets back, atones for his error, and Cowie gets back to present Tearfield with the ball, breaks out of defence, tries to find Gunnarsson, may get the return ball, Tearfield still going, then he loses it to Rangel on halfway. Medell slid in again, and Whittingham won a challenge. Bellamy's gone herring down the left hand side if Whittingham can find him, and he does with a lovely ball over the top, tries to cut inside Chico, holds it up, does the Cardiff boy. Whittingham breaks through a challenge again, Peter Whittingham out to the left hand side. Did he pull down Chico Flores? He did, and amazingly that's the first yellow card, and it's being presented to Peter Whittingham.
Yeah, I think he knew exactly what he was doing there, Whittingham, but I think Chico has just got to cool himself down. He's got up quickly. It is a foul, there's no doubt about that, and I think that Whittingham had done particularly well. You know, he's lashed out at the shins, got the foul. I think the referees played it correctly, but I don't think the reaction of Chico helps, because Bellamy's just had a chat in his ear and he's wound him up a bit, and he's got up, so there's no problem with the injury. But Gary Medell staying down here, looks as if he's suffering cramp.
Yeah, he is. Now, is he going off? Yes, it is Medell who's going off, and it's Kimbo Kyung. I'm not sure that's the substitution. With 3 minutes plus added time to go, the Malky Mackay would have been made in perfect circumstances.
No, he wouldn't have. And that man's performed very well indeed, and Malky's telling him exactly. He's telling him exactly what he thought of his performance, and he's played a big part so far in this the outcome of this game.
So Kimbo Kyung, the Korean, is on for his first Welsh derby. Oh, Colker push Boney, dangerous this. Chance for Swansea City. They send the big men up from the back, Chico and Ashley Williams.
You just wonder if this is slightly too far out for de Guzman. I think it is. It's a good 40 yards, isn't it? It's got to be. I don't think you can shoot from here, so...
It's central, it's right down the middle, and it's basically the middle of the Cardiff half. It's bang in the middle, always. And the wall will line up about 5 yards in front of the D. De Guzman hits it! Oh, Marshall made a meal of it, pushed it away for a corner, just bounced in front of the Scottish keeper, and his punch got it away.
I tell you, you know, he saw it possibly late, but it just bounced in front of him, and Marshall, as outstanding as been, you know, he's made a save there. It's another occasion, in my opinion, that he's got away with it, but he got his body behind the ball, which is so important.
Swans corner, De Guzman takes it, headed out by Peter Whittingham to the edge of the box, helped on by Cowie. Campbell makes sure it doesn't go up for a throw, throws himself almost into the advertising hoardings to play it into the Swansea half, picked up by Taylor. Virtually all the white shirts are forward, every player in the Cardiff half now, as Swansea look for a late last gasp equaliser. Chico holds off Kim. Tearfield goes out to meet Pozuelo on that left-hand side in front of the Swansea fans, who are anxiously hoping there's an equaliser yet. Headed away by Turner. Campbell has it. Campbell can't control it. He does a second time. Pulled down by Dyer. Campbell stays down. No foul, says the referee. Pozuelo breaks down the left-hand side into the last minute. Taylor should deal with this one, and he does. Gunnarsson heads it up on the edge of the box. De Guzman tries to play it back into the box, and it's cleared away by Cowie for a Swansea corner, or Swansea throw-in, level with the Cardiff penalty area, down this near side, the Swansea right. No Cardiff fans are cheering at the moment. They're anxious as the ball goes into their penalty area, looking for Boney, breaks for Pozuelo, brilliant save, Marshall at the near post, punches it away for another corner.
Yeah, great strike by Pozuelo, but equally good save to his right-hand side. He struck it really nicely, Pozuelo, but Marshall has just been a giant.
In swinging corner this time, hammered away by Whittingham. Cowie gives chase. Taylor will get there first.
5 minutes, Rob.
5 minutes of added time. He was quick then, Lee Probert.
Yeah.
5 minutes, says the 0-5. Says the big clock behind David Marshall's goal, which has been under siege the last 2 or 3 minutes. But Kim clears into the Swansea half. Race between Campbell and Vaughan. Campbell's taken it past Vaughan, who's brought him down. It could be a red card for Michel Vaughan. He's off. The Swansea keeper has gone for bringing down Fraser Campbell. It's another red card in the Welsh derby. What an end to this game, and we'll go into added time. Now, how many subs have Swansea City made? It's the 3. They're going to play the last 4 minutes of added time with just 10 men and without a goalkeeper. Ian Walsh.
Well, great substitution for Malky Mackay. You know, bringing on a pace man up front because he knew the game was going to get a lot wider and a lot more space in the field, so you needed people to make a run.
Was it a red card?
Oh, definitely a red card. He did contact. He knew he had to go straight away, Michel Vorm. You know, whether he would have got to the ball, I'm not so sure, but it doesn't matter. In the laws of the game, Michel Vorm could do nothing else. He was beaten by Fraser Campbell, who I have to say was really brave to put his head on that, because Michel Vorm was flying out towards him, and he's got a touch on the ball, and there's only one way for Michel Vorm to go, and that was into the tunnel.
Vorm takes the jog of shame off the Cardiff City Stadium pitch, waved off by the home fans. Campbell is back up on his feet, and it's Angel Rangel, the right back, who's going in goals for Swansea City, who will finish the last 4 minutes of added time with 10 men. There's a history of red cards in the derby. By Swansea City's Tom Butler was sent off after the final whistle. Well, Vorm was beaten in by a few minutes. As Whittingham sizes up a free kick now, it's down the right-hand side. Surely one of them has got to shoot from here.
Well, hey, only one's going to shoot from here. It'll be Whittingham, who'll just, I would imagine, Rob, will just try to hit the target. However, does he shoot or does he take the ball into the corner flag? Will they just keep the ball out on that right-hand side there? There's Kimbo is out there. No, Whittingham is going to pull the trigger
here. The free kick is about 3 yards from the corner of the penalty area. Whittingham takes it. Rangel palms it over the top. There's one to tell the grandchildren about.
What a save, son. Not really. Did everything right, Whittingham. He just didn't put too much pace on it, but just made sure he hit the target, and he tested Angel Rangel. Well, unbelievable stuff here. And the game had to be ignited in the second half. The goal did that. Swansea trying desperately to come back into the game, and Cardiff withstanding any pressure that Swansea have thrown at them.
As the 10 men look for a dramatic late equaliser, hit long, Turner heads it away, Kim goes looking for it, Taylor heads it forward, Gunnarsson over the top, oh, Campbell's gone running again, this time he's beaten Williams once more, he's taken it to the corner flag, down the right hand side. He'll never be cheered so much for taking the ball to a corner flag in front of those Cardiff fans, and he does better than that. He wins a corner, and you just feel it's all going Cardiff City's way now as they lead 1-0 against 10 men in the dying seconds of injury time at an ecstatic Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah, well done, Malky Mackay. You have to say that substitution, he saw it come in, he read it, and he knew that there would be a lot of space in the final moments of the game, and the pace of Fraser Campbell as well. He's got Michel Vorm sent off, and he's keeping the ball deep inside the Swansea half, and that's exactly where Cardiff City want the ball to be.
The ball is played out to Tearfield, one of the heroes for the red shirts today, and he's cleaned it up for a throw-in. One last chance for Swansea City. That's it! Cardiff City have beaten Swansea City by a goal to nil, but that's just half the story. Michel Vorm, the Swans keeper, sent off in injury time, and the Cardiff City Stadium celebrates, and how it celebrates, the first ever dramatic top flight Welsh derby, and after a slow start it did not disappoint. It's finished Cardiff City 1, Swansea City 0.
Well, the game really was all about the second half. The first half, they just, like a game of chess, they went at each other. They had about 50% of the game in the first half each. In the second half, Cardiff, I felt, started the better. Swansea City never turned up at the races today, but you can't take anything away from Cardiff City. They battled, they pushed, they had a game plan. I thought everything that they did, they worked well, and where they are better than Swansea City is set pieces, where they play the ball into the air, into the penalty box, and that's where, ironically, Stephen Corker, ex-Swansea City City player who has put the ball in the back of the net, and I think Cardiff have deserved it, without a shadow of doubt. They look more committed. I think lots of the Swansea players just didn't turn up on the day, didn't play with enough courage, and Cardiff City have deservedly, for me, got the 3 points.
The captain has led by example. The bragging rights are going to the capital. We do it all again early in the new year. It's finished Cardiff City 1, Swansea City 0. Let's hear from the Swansea City manager, Michael Laudrup.
Well, it ended up being disappointing, yes, because we lost a derby. It's always disappointing for everybody, fans, for players, for everybody, for staff. It was a game we really wanted to win. I think our plan was to, especially in the first half, to control it. I think we did that quite well, and we kept them away from any chances at all, even if they play at home. And then when we wanted to add some more players to go for the game, they scored on a set piece, which we knew they were strong at, but yeah, it was maybe the only chance, or one of the only 2 chances they had in the whole game. But it's how it is, and unfortunately we have to accept it.
Did the second half disappoint you? You never seemed to really get going after half time.
Not in the start, the first 10-15 minutes. They sat a little more on us, but without creating. And you know, these kind of games, they will always be very, very tight and played with high tempo. And I mean, I think we controlled it well. As I just said before, when I wanted to add a couple of players to go for the match, then they scored on a set piece.
Never a good way to concede a goal. Are there any individuals you're looking at for that set piece?
No, I think last year we spoke about that we had to improve on set pieces. I have to say we done that. It's the first one we conceded this season, a part of a penalty, but that's different. But yeah, you have to say it was. It's not about pointing at anyone. It was a good goal, but of course it's a little disappointing when they only had maybe that chance in the whole game. But you know, in derbies there are not many chances. We had a couple in the first half. Micho had a very good one. We had in the last 10 minutes we had Marshall did some great saves, but yeah, unfortunately we did not concede. We get the equaliser.
The game was quite calm, really, for an intense derby. We didn't get a yellow card until late on, and then of course your goalkeeper goes. Any complaints about that?
I don't know. I haven't seen. He's the last man. You know, everything happens so quick, fast. So when you see it from the outside, it seemed like he's the last man. So I don't know. Maybe it's okay. I haven't seen it more than on the pitch. And again, normally I always say that the referees, they need to take a decision in a second or in a split second. So that's what can happen.